walk me through what happened in Dolphins minicamp, mandatory minicamp, with their quarterback that kind of has to work out, one would say, right now, the way things look in Miami. Go for it, Jeff Darlington.
So, I think this one requires a lot of context and well beyond the headline that is obvious, which is Tua Tagovailoa throws 5 interceptions during minicamp practice. So here's the deal. First of which, I'm not going to completely sugarcoat this thing. He didn't look great. He didn't look great before the torrential rain. Even when he wasn't throwing interceptions, he didn't look great. And this is a guy who talking to people in the organization, including yesterday before practice, people kept saying he's different. He came back different. He looks better physically. He seems better mentally. He just seems more prepared for what he's about to endure. After practice, I talked to somebody who said, look, here's the deal. I can tell you, I heard it. Flores told them before practice, he called it a passing camp. He said, this is a teaching camp, that this is the time to be aggressive, to make mistakes. I want you firing downfield. I want you doing those things that maybe you wouldn't do during games in the season. So, it's somewhere down the middle here. Is it cause for concern? It's a June minicamp. Probably not. But for a guy that is coming under such obvious wonder about what he's going to do in year 2, we're going to probably criticize and look at everything he does, including a practice in which he throws 5 picks. So fair is probably somewhere down the middle.
So then let's put the 5 picks aside for a moment and just say that's the reason why we're having this conversation now on June 16th, right?
Yeah. Right.
But it's still a conversation that was being had while he and Fitzpatrick were on the same roster last year, and Fitzpatrick, as Fitzpatrick usually does, gets the gig back for a couple of quarters when the Dolphins needed to make the playoffs, and it was obvious that Tua was struggling to try and get the Dolphins to that spot. And now comes the whole conversation about Deshaun Watson. Let's be flat out straightforward about this, that the Dolphins have the draft capital still to go and get Deshaun Watson should he prove to be a viable quarterback. So let's just use this now as the backdrop and revisit what you said about him showing up differently in Miami. What do they mean? What are you hearing about that? What do Dolphins front office, if not coaches, tell you on that front? What's the deal there?
Look, I think that they're trying to be as supportive as possible of Tua and what he can do this season. And I also think that they at this point, when we talk about Deshaun Watson, they have to be, because let's be honest, Tua right now throwing 5 picks in a minicamp practice still isn't as bad or as curious as the future of Deshaun Watson. We don't know enough about whether and when he will be available. It is way too speculative. I started to go down this same sort of avenue in my own head yesterday as I'm watching Tua throw these picks about Watson, and then I'm sitting there saying, when is Watson going to be available? Is he going to play at all this year? And I understand we want to be as fair as possible to this process, but even if this process is played out expeditiously, what does that even mean? So, yes, if Tua goes into training camp and struggles and Deshaun Watson's picture is more clear, I don't know how the Dolphins can't consider it. But there is a lot that has to happen in the coming months for that to go from a conversation between us and a reality for the Miami Dolphins.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.